Let's jump out of the native file viewer and review browsing, hit some workflow, and then we'll dig into searching. Relativity offers a number of ways to browse through records. The first we call folders. Here we have a field tree. We also have advanced and saved searching. We can also browse by clusters, which is part of the relativity analytics feature set. I'm going to start here with case folders. And these are different than what you might be used to in other applications. It's not a metaphor for the tagging and coding structure. Instead, it's actually a physical location of where the records are located in the system. It can be your Outlook or Windows Explorer, a metaphor that's very familiar to people. We have a few high-level folders here that we have set up. The padlock indicates that the folder is secureable, and we can secure these folders. I have one here for file servers, which is organized by city and share. I also have one here for custodians. And we have this custodian, John Arnold. Maybe John had some loose files that were lying around on his desk. And then for his email, we've actually preserved the original mailbox structure of his Outlook or Lotus Notes, whichever he was using. So off his mailbox structure here, if he was actually involved in a matter involving Compact, we could click on this folder, for instance, and see exactly what he was storing in there. This provides me the very intuitive way to browse through records. And in terms of how we set things up, relativity can map to any piece of metadata in a load file. In this case, we mapped to the file path information. We had the file automatically recreated based on that. Another popular way our clients are using this, maybe this was an original paper-based collection and these documents were coded on the box level. So maybe we want to recreate a box structure. Other than that, we can right-click, create a folder structure that we see fit. So that's case folders. Moving on to field tree. This is actually a metaphor for the tagging and coding structure, and in that way it's also very intuitive. For instance, maybe I can see that something has been tagged as part of someone's deposition kit. And if I click here on Elliot, we can see that Elliot has 5 records in his depot kit. Or maybe I'd like to see what's been tagged as privileged so far. So I can go here and click on privilege. And I can see that we have 53 records that have been tagged as privileged. And so these documents, this is how they're tagged in the system. So next time I click on this, it'll be instantly returned. And that's field tree. So now I'm going to hide the browser to give us some full screen real estate as we talk about workflow and touch up on reporting. So we're looking at the entire database, which is just over 74,000 records. And this is the Enron database. While the 74,000 documents we have here is certainly a healthy sized database, the largest case in relativity has over 93 million records. With the hundreds of users in that single database, they're tipping, redacting, tweaking layouts and workflows, doing all sorts of searching, and it's still a very responsive system. This dropdown controls what we call views in relativity. Views are just canned queries that control the workflow and a bit of reporting in general, but 3 things specifically. First, the views control the columns that are displayed on the top here. They also control the criteria that are used to pull back these records and our default sort order. In this example right now, we're showing responsiveness and issues, but if it was a first pass reviewer, you may only give them access to my unreviewed documents, and in that case, they would only have access to responsiveness. We might even automate some workflows so that these records are coded and tagged as responsive and flow immediately into a second tier review. A couple of other things we can do with views is this. I have one that is called responsive documents. And it looks like it returns about 839 records. I can use this drop down for duplicates to include duplicates or families, even if they're not responsive to the query that we set up. So let's say if I include duplicates, it looks like it brings us up to 1,000 records. Maybe I want to normalize these documents, so what I'm doing is going to click the responsiveness field and sort the uncoded documents to the top. I can see that the records have been tagged inconsistently or not at all. These are exact duplicates of responsive documents, so I might want to normalize these with a mass action. Maybe these are records that I want to create a mass TIFF from or print locally. We can print them with or without the redaction, do some tallying, summing, averaging, field, date, or export them. Each one of these is individually secureable, so you can grant rights to one, none, all, or any combination to make sense to the reviewers. In our case, we just want to edit these. I can come in, oops, we want to say all, and we can edit these. I can come in and tag these since they're duplicates of responsive documents. I would want them to tag them as responsive. I would tag this, and I would hit save, but for our purposes, we're just going to cancel it out. Another question we often get is how to pull a priv log out of relativity. In our case, it's just a matter of setting up another view. So the documents that have been tagged as privilege with the fields that we have agreed upon to report, and with that we can take another mass action. So let's say for all 123 of these documents, we decide that we want to export them. And we can decide if we want to export them to a CSV, a DAT, or an Excel file. In this case, we just want to export to an Excel spreadsheet and keep them Unicode compliant. So here we have a priv log all ready to go, and we can even manipulate and save it from here. That's views in relativity. Does anybody have any questions?